Hi, welcome to another video from the Shopify extension section. So in this video, we'll be talking about Shopify Flow Action and how you can build one and integrate it in your Shopify app. But first of all, what is Shopify Flow? Shopify Flow, it's a Shopify first-party application that will allow you to create automation. For example, when a customer is created, you can do this. Think of it as Zapier or FTT, if this, then do that. Native integration in your Shopify store. And using Shopify Flow Extension API, we can build Shopify Flow triggers, which will trigger an event. For example, when our app settings has been changed, we can do something. But for today's video, we'll be talking about the Shopify Action. So, for example, when the customer is created in our Shopify app, we can let the customer check if the customer email is found in a blacklist record. If it's true, it will add a tag to the customer so we can know that this customer email address is blacklisted and we should be aware of that. If it's not, we can add a tag that we can mention that this customer is ready to order in our Shopify store. And this is what we'll be building in this video. So let's go back to the screen and I will show you first of all a demo of it, and after that we can build the same one. As you can see right now, this is the Shopify App Flow. So you can install it. It's a first party Shopify application. So we can create our workflow. So we can go here, select the trigger, and let's search for customer is created. And after that, let's add an action, which will be our flow action demo. This is check email against the blacklist. And for this demo, I am using this API, checking the blacklist. So we can type the email here and it will give us if this customer email address is on any blacklist record. So we can go back to our customer. This is a blacklist tag. So let's have it blacklisted. And this one we can say that is ready to order. So we are turning it on. Let's exit. We can go to the customer. We can create a new customer, but I will be just run this function from more action, run flow action, and click on it. And this should be creating and adding a tag to our customer. As you can see here, this customer is blacklisted. I don't know why my email is blacklisted. So let's start building this flow action. I will be using the Shopify template Remix, and I will be using this blacklist checker API, but you don't have to use it. We can just do it other way of checking the blacklist, but this is what we'll be using for today's demo. And let's open up the terminal and let's clone this. And after that, cd into it and run npm install. npm install. So everything is installed. So let's run npm run dev, or we can generate the extension directly. So npm run Shopify app generate extension. Let's create, it will be flow action demo. And let's search for flow action. Let's call it flow action. And after that, let's open up the code. And as you can see here, we have a new folder in the extension. It's pretty simple. We have the name of the action, we have the handle, we have the type, it's flow action. Description, we have the runtime. We can set URL for our Shopify app Remix server to execute this action. It will be a post action. And here we have the system that we will be defined as you see in the demo. We have two fields. We have the blacklist and the whitelist tag, and this one is requiring the customer reference, so we can get the customer ID, so we can get the customer email first, and we can check it against the blacklist record API. So let's run dev, automatically update, and let's click on P to install the app. So the app is installed. Let's go to the flow. Let's create a workflow. Select a trigger. For this one, let's customer created, and let's add an action. And we have the flow action demo. We have our flow action here, and the default settings is display name, so maybe you can have alias or demo app. So we're creating our first workflow in Shopify Flow, but let's add the logic to our extension, so we can let the Shopify store owner specify the blacklist and the whitelist tag. So here we have the settings, which will be type of single text field, and let's have it blacklist dash tag, and this one it will be the blacklist customer tag. Let's specify description, so add tag will be added to the customer when we found their email in a blacklist record. Let's duplicate this one, and let's have for the whitelist tag. When the customer is not found, when we found, and here we not found their email in a blacklist record. And let's update the name. It will be check customer email against blacklist record. Description, we can have it like this, and we need to create an API route, so we can go to the route, create a new folder. It will be api.check customer, and it will be route.tsx, and let's search for Shopify Flow Action Remix. This will give you the action handler for Remix, so we can just copy this one, paste it here. We don't need any of this, and let's just log the customer ID, and here let's import this one, and this is what we'll be looking for. And let's update the runtime URL. So because we are using the Cloudflare free tunnel, this one it will be updated on each time we are running the npm run dev, and I can show you how you can specify a custom one, but it will be later on. So we can just specify it here, the API endpoint here, so it should be /API/check customer. So the draft has been updated successfully, but if we go here, we can exit the workflow. Let's name this one test workflow, And let's go to the customer. Let's go to this one, and we already have the tag. So let's run flow action and select our test workflow and run npm and run the workflow. And as you can see here, we have nothing here show up in the logs, because one thing that I noticed in this Shopify Flow Action extension API, when you update the runtime URL, you should delete and re-add the workflow. So let's go back to workflow, and let's have our workflow turn off, delete, and let's create a new one. So let's select the trigger, which will be customer as usual, and action, it will be this one. And as you can see here, we have the customer tag, so this field is required, so it will be blacklisted. And this one, let's have it ready to order, and let's turn on the workflow. And let's go to customers, Rachel, and run the workflow, which is this one. And as you can see here, in the payload we have authenticate flow request, and we are getting the customer ID. So this one that we'll be using to get the customer email, and we will add the white or the blacklist tag. So we can go to the view result. Let's go to the workflow. This is the last one, and this one is completed. That's great. So let's open up our GraphQL editor, and this is the query that we'll be using to get the customer email. So let's go back to our customer list, Rachel, and just type Node.js so we can get the admin GraphQL ID. And let's pass it as a variable, but we have a missing scope. This one, it will be not reworking, so we need to have update that scope. So we can go to our XAML file. This is shopify.app.toml so we can search for the scope, and let's have, instead of read we will have write customer, because we will need them to add the tag. And after that, let's duplicate the tab and run npm run Shopify app deploy to deploy the new access scope. And let's release this version. That's great. And let's click on P to update the scope. We have edit customer right now, and also we have another issue, which is the app is not approved to access customer objects. So we can go back to our partner account, and let's go to our app, go to the API access, go to the protected customer data, request access. Let's select this one, it will be for app functionality, and we would like to get the email field for app functionality. That's great. We can rerun the query, and we are getting the email address. So that's great. And also we need to get the other property, and that we specify here. So we will get the blacklist tag, which in this case will be payload dot property dot customer tag, the same for the waitlist. And let's log them here, and let's have the logic to get the customer email, because we already have. Let's copy the query, and here let's run response, using the admin GraphQL, so it will be await dot GraphQL, and the first argument will be the GraphQL query or mutation. In this case it's the customer, so let's specify for, and it's customer email, and here let's specify the variable, which in the case variable, and in this case it will be ID, and it will be the customer ID. And let's close this function and await response.json, and let's load the data, and customer email, it should be data.customer email, and let's log it also. So currently we are getting the customer email, so let's run the blacklist checker. So we can go to the blacklist.checker.com. I already have an API key, so you can just create your free one here. Let's open up Postman, and this is the request that we'll be using. This is the API request, so it's api.blacklistchecker.com/check/the customer email address, and for the authorization we can specify the key, and in our case this will be the email, so we can specify it like this, and the result is okay. Detection, we have one detection, which is not good, so this one should be blacklisted. I will be using Axios, so let's get this configuration, and let's npm install Axios. Let's go back to our action and import Axios. And here we have the customer. This is the configuration. Let's have it as a const. Let's remove all of this. This one can be an environment variable, but for this one I will just revoke it after this video. And this one, let's pass it here, customer email, and we can do blacklist check. It will be await Axios and request, and let's pass the configuration, and after that we should get in the data. As you can see in the response, so if detection is more than 0, the customer should be blacklisted. So that's great. So let's have is blacklisted, and it should be blacklist check data dot is detection is greater than 0, it should be blacklisted. And let's have a mutation to add the customer tag, so it will be mutation. Let's do customer tag add, and let's have the ID as a variable and the tag as a string variable, should be required. And we can do customer tag and specify the ID of the customer. We have an array of tag, and let's just pass the tag. And let's return the node ID and also user error if there is any. It will be the field and the message. So let's go back, and it will be tag add, it will be await dot admin GraphQL, and in the second argument we will be passing the variable. In this case we have the ID that will be the customer ID, and we have the tag, and if it's blacklisted it will pass the blacklist tag. If it's not, it will be add the whitelist tag. And let's so tag add response. I will be awaiting for the tag, and if there is any error, dot data tag, let's throw an error, and it will be failed to add tag. If not, it will be just returning a JSON with success. So let's import JSON from Remix node, even it's deprecated right now. And here, so that's great. So what we did here, so we get the customer email address using this query. After that, we are checking against this API to check if the email address is blacklisted or not. If it's blacklisted or not, we'll add a tag to the customer. If they are blacklisted, we'll add the blacklisted tag. If it's not, we'll add the whitelist tag that the Shopify store owner specify in the workflow. So that's the only thing that is left, is try the function again. So we can go back here, we can go to the customer, and let's create a new one. Let's do this one. It will be example.test.com. This will be a test, and let's see the log from here. So currently we are getting, let's see all the log here. So currently we are getting the blacklist tag and the whitelist tag from the workflow settings. We are getting the data, which is the customer email, it's example.test.com, and we are checking the against the blacklist API. So there is no detection. And it should be adding the ready to go, in this case, tag to this customer. Ready to order tag. So that's it for this video. I hope you find it useful, and thank you so much, and see you on the next video.